Hi everybody, I'm Jan Johnson. Been pole vaulting and working on improving pole vaulting stuff since 1964. We're going to show you how to do a cushion plant box install today. The box that's in currently, we'd actually put this box in about 10 years ago, and we're going to pull it out and we're going to put a new box in with the cushion surface around it. This is what I jump on in my backyard where I have pole vaulting all the time. I probably installed 30 or 40 of them nationwide. Centerville, Ohio, Stevens Point, Wisconsin, Kutztown, Pennsylvania, all over the central coast of California. So I'm just going to kind of show you a little step-by-step and what's involved in doing it. I really think that probably any high school grounds crew and maybe parents and some kids could probably do this type of an install. It's really not very difficult to do. You're going to need some tools. You're going to need probably a jackhammer and a concrete saw and some other things to make a click. But that's what our plan is today, everybody. This is the box we're going to install. It's 1/4-inch plate steel integrated with galvanized 20 gauge metal. And what that does, when you do that, it gives you flexible sidewalls, and since it's going to have cushioning glued on the bottom and the sides with what's called EPS foam. EPS foam is the type of insulation that they put under concrete slabs in houses and around the perimeter of foundations, and we've been using it for about 10 years now. You can buy EPS foam anywhere. It's at any hardware store it's sold. And so we're going to then have a concrete area underneath where the pole rotates and behind where the pole rotates. And when we set this whole thing up, we're going to follow these lines on the bottom here. Our rubber pad that goes on the very top, it's going to extend down to this line, and then this is going to be cushioning, and then this is all concrete, and these are some studs that hold it in place. On the front of the box, we have two little flares that come out, and we'll be screwing through these flares into the underlayment of the runway. So our goal is going to be to make the front edge of the box between 3/4 and 1 inch below the surface of the runway. But to do that, that means that these need to be lower so that they're in the concrete portion of the runway to hold it in place. Elevated front lips are a huge problem in pole vaulting. We see elevated front lips everywhere, especially in the Midwest and the Northeast, where they have this thing called freeze-thaw. It snows or it rains, water runs down under the box is installed in concrete. It's usually 6 or 8 inches of concrete under the box. Well, water gets under there and freezes, and then it pops the front lip up. And when I go do my summer camps and all that, it's unbelievable how often we see that and how dangerous that is. Because if a kid comes running down the runway and plants his pull tip, and many vaulters like to slide their pull tip into the box off the top of the runway, and that pull tip catches on that front edge right there, it jerks you and you land flat on your back, typically right in the box or right on the front edge of the pit. These are going to be the tools that we're going to use to do the install. We're going to cut the concrete out with the concrete type blade on my saw. We're going to use this grinder to just make some adjustments after it's all been installed, and we're going to chop the hard surfaces around from the front of the box with this jackhammer. You also might need a sledgehammer. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. We're going to put shredded rubber playground mulch underneath this box, and around the perimeter of this box, and we're going to wet it and we're going to pack it. You can pack it with your feet, or you can pack it with a hand packer, or both like this. We don't want it to settle. We want it to find its base and to not settle too much, if at all, once it's been installed. I'm lining the hole, the parts of the hole that need to be cushioned with shredded rubber mulch, and I'm packing it down, and then I'm taking the box and I'm just checking the depth to see if we're in the ballpark from where we want to be as far as the depth goes. So, like we were saying earlier, we want to have the front edge 3/4 of an inch to about an inch below the surface of the runway. And we got a little adjusting to do here. And then we're looking at this part. When this rubber piece is on here, it needs to be dead flush with the surface of the runway. So I'm a little high right now. I got to take a little bit out. We're gonna play with it and play with it, and it'll be good. So that's the general install. I've got a couple other things I need to do. I won't be able to do them today though. With the rubber track surfacing, I'll fill all these cracks and blend them into the sides. But in general, using force impact testing, the current plant boxes that we jump on out there are around 10,000 head injury criteria. 10,000 hic, it's called. 3,000 hic kills you. If you land on your head and have an impact at 3,000 hic, you're going to die. From 12.5 feet, that's where we dropped the force impact testing device from. It was 10,000 hic. This box here on the bottom, with the cushioning that we put and the rubber playground crushed rubber playground material, is around 800 hic. And the sidewalls, these pieces out here, they're even better than that. And the back is just about the same as the bottom. Sides are probably 250 to 300 hic. And the bottom's around 800. It's a huge, huge, huge improvement in safety. We've had so many accidents in the box. If you drift a pole too high, if you have a terrible run, if you break a pole, if you catch your front lip on the front tip on the front lip, you're going to have a box landing of some type. So that's really what we're trying to do. I'd also like to point out, and you guys watched it, it's concrete in this yellow area. Everything else that's orange is padded, and that's really why I painted it that way, so people can look at it and see it. So that's what I've tried to do.